Being a small yoga teacher, studio teacher, one teacher who is wanting to run a yoga retreat and to try and sell out all your spots can be super daunting, especially if this is the first time that you are going to be running a yoga retreat. Welcome, my name is Nina Sachs. I am a yoga teacher and health coach, and I have been in this industry since 2003. So for many, many years, I have hosted many, many retreats. I have done many of the wrong things. I have done many of the right things. And here I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of marketing strategies that I think may help you. Very simple, that are free, and that you, as a new budding yoga teacher or someone who enjoys yoga, maybe even been teaching for a long time, but you actually just want to host a retreat and you're not quite sure about how to go about it, here are a couple of key marketing strategies that I don't want you to miss out on. So, first of all, my first biggest tip is, if this is the first time you're doing it, especially if you're a very new yoga teacher, is collaborate. Find other teachers who you can join with to host and do your first retreat. And it may be 2 others, 3 others. Maybe you've just come out of a yoga teacher training. And so maybe there are a couple of others in your teacher training that you know of and you can collaborate with and join. And so instead of it being like a yoga treat, it's maybe just like more of a yoga get together the first time you do it. So have a look at collaboration. That is my key tip number 1, just so that you've got more numbers that you can draw in from different sources to join the retreat. All right, tip number 2 is utilize your newsletter. So I'm assuming if you're a teacher, you have a form that people fill out when they come to your yoga classes. I hope you have in there that you are collecting their email addresses. And I hope that you are running or sending out newsletters regularly. Once a week, and if that's too much, once a month, and if that's too much, at least once a season. But if you are collecting, if you're a yoga teacher, you have to be collecting email addresses. And a newsletter is so important. I can't explain to you the value of having a newsletter, because it's a perfect way for you to communicate with the students who are currently coming, the students who have come to you in the past and maybe just still want to be connected with you, but maybe they've moved to a different suburb, maybe they've moved overseas. But if you're having a yoga retreat, who knows, maybe they're visiting family and they're just going to happen to be back there at that time. But if you don't have a newsletter and they don't have contact with you regularly, they're not going to be able to hear about what you have to offer, or they're not going to be able to share it with others in a way that is easy. So a newsletter is key. Now, when it comes to newsletters, don't get disheartened. We're not looking for 100% open rate. The average industry standard for an open rate when it comes to newsletters is between 20 and about 26%. That means out of 100 people that you send your newsletter to, only about 25 people are actually going to open it. And then 1 to 3% are actually going to click on what it is that you are promoting or advertising. So you may have one person that clicks on kind of like finding out more information about your yoga retreat if it's in a newsletter. All right, that's industry average. So the idea is to really build up your newsletter with valuable email addresses. You don't just want random email addresses, so that you can actually get the open rate higher and your click rate through higher. That's where you're wanting to go, but you do want to build. So as a yoga teacher, please continue growing your newsletters by adding in new participants or students to that. And then you can promote and advertise your yoga retreat in those newsletters. And the reason why I say do this regularly is because, a person might be super busy and they kind of like see the email in their inbox, but they don't actually get to taking action. So you need to do it multiple times, because all of a sudden they're in the right frame of mind. They have the time and the space to actually go through and read. And a newsletter doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be like pages and pages. Just a few short little 1 or 2 paragraphs that give the reader value as to what they're doing. All right, so that's number 1. Tip number 2, those are the 2 tips. Tip number 3 is WhatsApp. Grab your WhatsApp group. So again, one of the tips that I say is make sure that if you're a small studio owner or just an individual teacher, is that you have a WhatsApp group or a WhatsApp community or a WhatsApp channel. Even their WhatsApp channels. I even have a WhatsApp channel. Did you know that? On Yoga and Ayurveda. So go check that out if you're keen. And what you want to do is just, again, frequently, not like too annoyingly, but just frequently, just remind them with like a little post, maybe a little quote, that there's a yoga retreat coming, that there's a yoga retreat happening, the benefits of a yoga retreat. You can link to an article, you can link to a YouTube video that might entice or inspire them as to why they should go on a yoga retreat. I think I've done one actually, so just have a look in this channel on kind of like the benefits of yoga retreats. And you can literally just take that and say, like, if you're needing something, watch this motivation, maybe you're ready to join my yoga retreat. So use your WhatsApp channels, communities, groups for that purpose. And again, don't like overdo it, but do it regularly enough that people are reminded, like, oh, there's a yoga retreat. Oh, wow, that weekend I'm not doing anything. Actually, maybe I can get away. Oh, yes. Okay. So that is the fourth one. The third one, the fourth one we are going with is your social media posting. And that could be, depending if you hang out on Facebook, Instagram, maybe you're on Twitter, maybe you do videos like this on YouTube. So where do you hang out? Now, you don't have to be everywhere. Just choose the platform that you enjoy the most. And if you don't do social media, that's also okay. But it is going to kind of like hinder your ability to finding more people, because social media is probably the biggest platform where most people go to get information and to hang out. It's not going away. So if you want to be marketing, you do need to know how to use marketing strategies. You do need to know how to use social media to draw and drive traffic to you and your retreats. All right, so doesn't matter where you are. Also, don't worry about posting too frequently. People are so over bombarded and there's so much happening. So just post and remind, because it might just be that one post at that one time that clicks with that person that they needed to see, or that they out with coffee with a person and they're just checking their phone and it's there, and then all of a sudden they have something to talk about, and all of a sudden both decide, you know what, they really want to go on a yoga retreat, and both of them decide to sign up. Or again, someone's and they send it to a friend because they see it. But you do have to do it regularly on social media. Like literally just posting it once and hoping that it's going to get out there and seen by everyone is not enough. You need to literally, when it comes to social media, I'm not joking, post every day. Yes, every day. It doesn't have to be about your retreat every day, but it does have to be with regards to something. Use some useful content. This is helpful where maybe one day you share a testimonial from a previous retreat or from one of your yoga classes, so people get to know like what kind of style you teach. Maybe it is something about the style of yoga. Maybe it is a benefit of yoga. Maybe it's just one of your personal lessons. Maybe it's something that you're doing. Maybe it's a little clip of you doing yoga behind the scenes. There's so many different things that you can post, just so you're creating a little bit more of a branding around you and what you have to offer, so that you slowly start to become more visible out there in the world of yoga. And then my fifth and final one, which I think is probably the biggest and has helped me the most, is this idea of word of mouth, where I'm just having that one-on-one conversation with a person, and all of a sudden they're like, wow, this is exactly what I need. This is what is what has been missing. Because when you're able to have those one-on-one conversations with people, you can get all the emotion and the depth of what it is that you're going to be offering on retreat out to them, and they can hear the sincerity in your voice, and they're probably going to want to connect with you. So don't discredit the value of word of mouth. And for you to actually be speaking to people that you come into contact with, you don't need to be like salesy or anything like that, but just be excited. Be like, I'm really nervous, but I'm super excited that I'm going to be hosting my first retreat. Like, do you know of anyone who would be super keen? Like, if you were to go on a retreat, like, what is the things that you would want? And just ask questions and get interest, engage interest as well. And then from there, you will be able to, they will then, again, speak to other people and maybe put you in contact. Like my hairdresser, she's amazing. Like if I go to Tracy and I'm like, Tracy, I've got a yoga retreat, she'll be like, oh, this person need to hear about it. They would be ideal for you. Send me the flyer and they'll pass it on. She'll pass it on. And maybe one out of those 5 people that she's passed on is going to get hold of me. But if you don't go and have those conversations, if you're just too nervous and you just keep it in, which I did for way too many years, trust me, I've been there, I've done that. It's not going to help you and it's not going to help them, because there's so many people out there who need that yoga retreat that you're offering. So you need to be able to speak about it and invite them along and let them be part of the journey. Right. So those are my 5 tips when it comes to marketing your yoga retreat, building a little bit of a brand around that. And please be sure to like this if this was helpful. Share it with a yoga teacher who needs to hear these things. Make sure that you grab your cup of tea today, that you sit back and you relax with it, and that you enjoy your yoga practice. Sending you so much love from my heart to yours. Namaste.